Alright, my super fam, so Neuvillette is basically back after quite a while. This is technically his second rerun, but I'm sure many of us are happy because wow, it's Neuvillette, which means many of us would love to actually pulse for him. However, I know there are many of you out there who are still considering on the banner as well, because this time around the cases are actually interesting, because even though Neuvillette, a very good character, is here, however, the banner right after him is an important decision for many of us as well, because most likely 99.9% Mavuika is going to be right after Neuvillette. Not to mention, we're having two new 5-star character in 5.3, which right after Mavuika is also going to be Citlali. And wow, as much as I know many of us like Neuvillette, I am pretty certain that many of us also would love to have Mavuika and wow, Citlali as well, especially with all of the, you know, story quests that we have been through with Citlali. I know that she has been able to capture a ton of attention towards many of us, especially my attention after being through everything with her in the story. I now feel like I'm probably going to be saving the majority of my Primogems for Citlali, and while this is definitely the whole point of the video discussion today, I want to make a slightly quick video talking about this because, well, I know that I've already talked a little bit about Neuvillette and his banner in my previous video. However, I feel like there was a little bit more to it, so I decided to make this video, you know, just having fun and discussing a bit of my point. Natlan is finally here, and of course that comes with many new characters that you would want to pull. Now, if you're planning to swipe for pulling, then don't forget to check out Loot Bar. If you know me, I've been recommending you guys Loot Bar before, since you can always save almost a 20% on all of your top-ups. With over 100,000 orders and so many good reviews at this point, you can be sure that Loot Bar is trustworthy. To demonstrate it to you, I've been topping up my Genshin account through Loot Bar, buying the highest Genshin package. The only information you would need to fill out is going to be your UID and server region. Then go through the checkout process. After completing, the top-ups will come to your account within 5 minutes. Usually it just comes instantly for me. Here you can see my order receipt of all of my top-ups that I have done. So guys, be sure to check out Loot Bar through the link in my description, as it can be a great way for you to save your money, especially if you are topping up a large amount. Now, I'm pretty sure most of us know what Neuvillette does, what his strength and power is, and why he is where he is in the meta, because while overall he's a very powerful character, and he's gonna be like that for another very long time. Currently at this point in time, he's still considered to be technically the best DPS overall in Genshin Impact because of, well, how easy it is for you to actually play and the simplicity of actually building his team, making up the majority of his power as well. Technically pretty free to play friendly. However, if you are looking invested into, you know, his best team, it does require you to have 5-star character. However, those 5-star character are mainly the majority of the pools that I know that you guys usually invest in, because his meta team generally have Shilonen, Furina, and a Kazuya. Overall, I think this is one of, if not his best team right now in terms of raw damage power toward Neuvillette himself. Obviously, if you want to play around with other elemental reactions team for Neuvillette, there are too, but usually I go with this team at this point. So overall, ever since the point when he was released, his team technically has already had updated, and I feel that this is basically an upgrade and a slight buff toward Neuvillette, because before, at the very start when he was released, we didn't really have entirely these cast of characters apart from Kazuya to actually helping out. But now, especially after patch 5.1, we've got access to Shilonen, which is an absolutely perfect character for Neuvillette. And while if you want to play around with like an Auroran team running alongside with Neuvillette, you know, you can use that as well for a more free-to-play friendly team comps. Now, as much as I love Neuvillette and his power in the meta-wise, there are certain things that I would love to point out and discuss, especially if you're, you know, kind of like the player who are more focuses on wanting to have the best DPS overall for your account. Now, obviously, this wouldn't apply to you. If you already love Neuvillette, you're going to be pulling for him anyway, because once again, it is a game. So whichever character you decide to pull for, it's going to be your decision and no one's going to talk you out of it. But if you're looking in the logical side and you're thinking about making the most of your Primogems, then always do note that in every single game, DPS character and especially hyper carries generally are the characters that is going to be power crept the most, even if it is Genshin Impact. And believe me, I've played a lot of games and I feel that Genshin Impact is one of the games that, you know, the power crept meaning doesn't actually apply that much, because wow, first of all, you can still technically use some of the older character, you know, building a newer team around them, and it's still going to be able to clear you the content. I feel that this is more towards kind of like an easy end game that helps you with this and don't have, you know, the power creep meaning being applied too much into the game. But as we can see, overall we can technically use any of the character you want, build a team around that specific character and clear the game, even if those characters are, you know, 4-star and for free to play players. However, power creep situations are still there, and that might going to be the case once again when Mavuika comes. Now, Mavuika information is obviously not released, so there are no concrete information for us to be discussing this upon, and obviously everything I'm going to say here is going to be subjected to change. But from all the information that we've already got on Mavuika out there, and from my speculation looking at Mavuika current scaling, there's going to be a very high chance that she turning out to be the best DPS in the game whenever she comes out. And while I've been talking to, you know, some of the beta 5.3 players out there, it is not official, but they're saying that Mavuika is technically going to be out damaging Neuvillette by, you know, some percent. And furthermore, Mavuika is going to be the next pyro DPS character, even though she's not going to be on field for a long time. Technically, if you look into it, probably going to be around 7 seconds. So if you're looking into it, she may potentially feels like you playing Raiden Shogun, but on the pyro DPS side. However, her scaling is just so high at this point that she's going to be doing a ton of damage, and since she's being a pyro DPS, she is technically going to be power creeping some of the pyro DPS character that we've got in the game right now, especially, you know, Arlecchino, and some of them have been saying that Mavuika may be around 10% better than Arlecchino, and oh my god, we already know how good of a character Arlecchino is already. While she is one of the best character in the game, and many sometimes have said that Arlecchino can be even better than Neuvillette at times, so that is going to be a huge consideration if you are looking for a powerful DPS character to actually pull. But obviously all of these are speculations, we don't know anything officially yet, so you know, once again, if you are still on the fence, I do recommend you to wait, hold back your pulls on the current banner, wait for another week, because you know 5.3 live stream should be Friday next week, and we're going to be definitely having more concrete information by then. But obviously in terms of if you're looking into pulling for Mavuika instead of Neuvillette, you should also think about her specific team comps as well. Now obviously there are going to be free to play options for Mavuika team, but currently at this point her best teams are expected to be having characters, you know, like Shilonen, Kazuya and Citlali. Now I know that Kazuya and probably Shilonen you guys should already able to have. Citlali probably not going to be a must-have, but Citlali is going to be a very powerful character on Mavuika team because her kit is actually very interesting. She's a cryo character but actually has the ability to buff hydro and pyro character whenever they do those kind of reactions to cryo, and moreover she may have access to shielding as well as other buffing, helping out with your team, most likely going to be having off-field cryo application for you as well, so that Mavuika can easily do melt damage, which is why Citlali is also shaping up to be a very powerful character on Mavuika team. Therefore, again, if you are looking to be investing into Mavuika, you know, you're probably going to be expected to be pulling for her weapon as well as Citlali, which is right afterward as well, and you may also be tempted to pull for Citlali's weapon because wow, her weapon is shaping up to be rather nice for her too. So that other side is going to be pretty expensive regarding an overly powerful Mavuika team investment for you guys. Now obviously I would say that it's not going to be too free to play if you're trying to invest that much within a single patch, which is why I want to have this discussion. And that's where it leads to the part of the video where I want to talk about which character I would actually prioritize the most if I don't have any of these characters yet. Now I know that many of us out there may already have Neuvillette and you're wanting to probably invest more into either his weapon or his constellations, and yeah, I'm obviously not going to be stopping you guys from doing that if you really do enjoy Neuvillette. But again, if you're looking into kind of like min-maxing your Primogem usage and potentially you know, if you're feeling that you're lacking in DPS character, then honestly I would probably value Mavuika pools at this point in time over in either pooling for Neuvillette or trying to invest more into him at this current point. Because again, if you're able to invest more into Neuvillette, you're probably going to have enough gems to actually invest more into your Mavuika. Because while Mavuika is technically shaping up to be the best C0 character in the entire game, and obviously if you do have the ability to invest more, you can pull for a weapon and potentially pull for Citlali. But in these three characters, if we're talking about overall values and future proofing wise, then I would definitely going to be value Citlali over both Neuvillette and Mavuika, because as I've mentioned before, DPS character always have that positions of being Powercreep. However, in terms of, you know, either sub DPS or support character, as you can have seen, that goes for Kazuya at this point in time, Shilonen, and before that we already have Rina as well. Those kind of characters are going to have their values up for a very long time, and I feel that that's going to be the case for Citlali as well. So if you're looking for best value wise, most likely that's going to be towards Citlali. But overall, once again, those are all speculation information at this point. However, I kind of want to make this video because I want to kind of like give you guys a slight head up for those of you who are still on the fence, so that you be able to make a more educated decision at this specific point in time, because the banner upcomings are going to be really good. Not to mention, after Neuvillette, I believe that Alecino and Cloran will have their rerun as well. So there's huge consideration, especially during this time of the year. So guys, I think that's all I have to say regarding the video. Hope you guys found it helpful and enjoyed it. If you do have any question, don't forget to leave a comment down below, and I or some other lovely Genshin player will get to you there. If you're still having trouble saving up Primogems to pull for your characters, don't forget to check out Loot Bar, as I'm sure it will be very helpful to you. I really appreciate you guys staying with me to this part of the video, guys, and with that, I wish you a super day, and I will catch you on my next video.